Friday for Black Leaders Day here on Moxie.xyz. And Free Flow Fridays is a yoga class that concentrates on a different style of or flow of yoga each Friday evening. And if you would like to participate in the class live after this one, class starts at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Times on Friday evenings here in the Asana Sana Yoga studio. So with that being said, let's rise up on our mats here, meeting in the middle. We're going to get started into our posing today. And I'd like to welcome you all to my studio with a namaste. Let's ground ourselves here, starting in mountain pose. And tonight's free flow class is going to be working on loosening up the lower back. As a lot of us are now working from home, sitting a little bit more often, maybe using our couch instead of our chairs for work, our lower backs can start to ache just a little bit. So this class, we're going to focus on loosening up that back just a little bit. And we're going to start here by grounding ourselves and setting our intentions, allowing ourselves to be one with the moment, feeling the energy of the earth. And I'll share with you my intentions this evening. I intend to lead you all through a lovely flowing class that hopefully will open up that lower back for you and causing less pain. So we're standing here. Let's exhale and lower ourselves down into Sukhasana, easy seat on the mat, however you find your way. Relaxing here, spreading the flesh of your sits bones out, getting yourself nice and comfortable. Let's switch those legs around as well, coming into different crisscross applesauce. And as this is an abbreviated version of class, let's get started with our warm-up. We're going to start by just nodding our head. We're going to start with a yes nod, opening up that muscle and fascia lines, allowing the neck to open up and relax. And slowing down, bringing ourselves to center. With an inhale, let's shake our head no, warming up the neck muscles and side to side. Let's slow ourselves back down to center. Inhale the arms out to a T. Let's drop that left arm to a 45-degree angle. And dropping our right ear to our right shoulder, let's bring our right palm up, placing it on our left side of our head here. Using our arms' weight to gently bring our neck down into stretching, opening up that side. Wonderful. Let's inhale our head up, releasing from our palm. Let's turn here to the right, looking over, dropping that chin down, looking towards the mat as we use our hand to extend our spine, extending our neck. Breathing into that deep stretch. Let's inhale our head up, exhaling our arms back to a T. Let's inhale once more, turning to the left. This time, let's drop the chin using the left hand to help that neck look down. Dropping the right arm at a 45-degree angle to further the stretch. Excellent. Let's inhale that head up, releasing from the left hand palm. Let's turn the head to the center, dropping the ear to the left shoulder, using that left palm to help stretch out the arm and the neck. Wonderful. Let's inhale and release. Shaking out our head, bringing our hands down to the mat. Let's begin to warm up the shoulders, keeping our hands, fingertips flat or palms flat. Just open up rolling your shoulders forward and back. Bringing your hands up to fingertips if you haven't already helps to loosen the arms around, keeping it flexible. Slow ourselves down. Coming to finish, let's inhale, exhale, going the opposite direction, forward and down, loosening up those shoulders. All right, let's slow down that shoulder roll. Let's bring our arms up with an inhale, and let's begin to warm up the spine. We're going to exhale, dropping that right forearm down to the mat, bringing our left arm. Exhaling into that side seated twist. And make sure you keep your left hip, on the mat. That way we're stretching out the obliques and the side back. Let's inhale ourselves up to a T. Exhaling, coming over to the left. And if this is not within your practice, you most certainly can remain seated and just gently stretch over. Whichever feels comfortable for you today. Wonderful. Let's bring ourselves back up, arms out to a T. Taking a deep breath, let's turn to the right, exhaling our hands down onto the floor, coming into a gentle twist. Let's inhale our hands up once more, turning to center. Exhaling, dropping the fingertips down to the floor, twisting to the left. Wonderful. Let's inhale our hands up, exhaling them, placing them back down on the mat next to us. Let's warm up the spine before we bend forward by performing cat-cow. So inhale the chest open, exhale scooping, coming into cow. Inhale open, exhale into cow. And you can bring your hands to your knees if it helps as well. Just warming up the spine, allowing our spine to move, eradicating any of that pain. Wonderful. Let's slow ourselves down. Inhale those hands up overhead once more. Let's exhale, bending forward from the hips, coming into that seated forward fold. If it is not within your practice to go down that far, you can just pull yourself just a little bit, lifting out of your hip flexors, allowing that back to stretch out. Excellent. Let's bring ourselves back up to seated today. And we're going to find ourselves standing once more at the top of the mat in mountain pose. And I'm very big on alignment in my classes here, so I like to just walk you through a simple alignment little exercise. You want to keep our feet hip width apart, and you can just go ahead and eyeball that with your fist width apart with your feet between your big toe knuckles. Make sure your knees are nice and straight but not locked. You want to be able to keep them soft and supple and bended. Let's move up to our hips, keeping our hips over our knees. We want to keep our pelvis in that neutral tilt. Remember, our pelvis is a bowl, so you don't want to spill it. Bringing it to that neutral tilt. Let's ease our ribs in. Instead of jutting them out, standing at attention, let's ease our ribs in, bringing those fingers together, keeping the ribs situated right over those hip bones as well. And for the shoulders, let's pull them up to our ears, rolling them back and down, sending the shoulder blades energetically down the back, relaxing the arms, hold parallel. And let's keep our ears to be nice and parallel over our shoulders by keeping our chin at that neutral tilt, keeping that parallel as well. Rolling our shoulders back. Let's take a deep breath in this nice neutral position. Inhaling our hands up to the sky. Let's exhale, take a forward fold down. Forward fold. Inhale, half a flat back. Exhale, place our hands on the mat. Let's gently step to the back. Coming into our plank. Exhale, coming down into an upper dog. Breathing in. Let's curl those toes to the back. Exhale, sending our hips up into the sky. Let's gently walk out our feet, waking up the back of our legs, waking up that back body, saying, hey, we're about to do some work. Let's inhale that right foot up into the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, placing it forward in between the hands on the mat. Let's drop that back leg, that left knee, uncurl the toes. Inhale, let's come up into a low lunge. Dragon pose, of course. If you'd like, here, we're going to inhale, straighten out that leg just a bit, cartwheeling the hands forward, placing the hands on the mat. Let's curl that left leg, straightening it out. Let's bring the right foot down here to meet. Inhaling, let's exhale ourselves into that upward dog. Let's curl those toes once more as we inhale, sending our hips back up into the sky. Let's take that left foot this time. Inhale, sending it up into the sky into that three-legged dog. Let's exhale, bringing that foot down on the mat. Dropping that right back knee there. Inhale, coming up into our dragon pose. Excellent. Inhale, straighten that front leg, cartwheeling the hands to the mat. Let's take a step back. Lower ourselves in plank. Come on up to our upward dog once more. Let's take one more inhale as we curl our toes. Exhale, sending our hips up into the sky, coming into our downward dog. From here, let's walk our feet up to meet our hands at the top of the mat. Let's inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, placing our hands back down on the mat. Let's inhale, coming up all the way. Exhaling, bringing those hands into mountain pose. Wonderful. Let's get back into the next sun sal, starting in mountain pose. Inhale those hands up into the sky. Let's exhale briefly into a chair. Swan diving, pulling yourselves forward, coming to that halfway forward, that forward fold. Let's inhale halfway. Exhale, placing the hands back on the mat. Let's step down into our plank. Inhale, exhale yourself into your chaturanga, coming up into that upward dog. Let's curl those toes. Exhale as we send our hips up into the sky, walking out our legs once more, allowing our back body to wake up. Let's inhale that foot up into the sky. Exhale, placing it down on the mat, that right foot, dropping our left knee. Let's inhale, coming up into dragon's pose once more. This time, see if you can catch yourself a little bit deeper. Really open up that hip, stretching out that iliac psoas right in the front. Inhale, straightening that leg, cartwheeling our hands back down to the mat, curling our left leg. Let's go ahead and plank ourselves. Lower ourselves down here after we match our foot. Inhale, coming in the upward dog. Let's curl our toes. Exhale, sending our hips up into the sky, coming into that downward dog. And let's do the same with the left leg. Walking out that feet. Inhale the left leg up into the sky. Three-legged dog. Exhale, placing it down on the mat. Let's drop that knee, the right knee. Inhale ourselves up to a dragon pose. Exhaling a little deeper, seeing if you can open that iliac psoas up in the front of your leg here. Let's inhale, straightening out that leg, placing our hands on the mat. Let's curl our toe, straightening that right leg, bringing that left leg back to meet. Let's exhale ourselves down in our plank. Inhale up into our downward dog. Let's curl those toes. Exhale, sending the hips energetically up into the sky. Let's walk or jump our feet to the top of the mat to meet our hands. Inhale, coming into the halfway forward fold. Exhale, bringing your hands down on the mat. From here, we're not going to come back up. Let's just continue to bend our knees a little bit, bringing your hands to the mat. And just holding here for a moment. Allow yourself to exhale, rounding your back over your thighs, opening your feet up just a little bit, perhaps, if you need to. But allowing this feeling to help open up that lower back there. Awesome. Let's take an inhale as we begin to drop our knees, finding ourselves coming back into our tabletop pose here. Excellent. Taking one more deep breath. Let's inhale. Take that right hand, sending it underneath the left. Palms up, Exhaling as we drop our upper body and our ear to the mat, coming into thread the needle. And really breathe into your lower back. Feel that lower back begin to open up for you. Excellent. Let's inhale, coming back up here, bringing that right palm back to the mat. Exhaling, allowing yourself to settle back into this pose. Let's inhale once more as we exhale, sending our left arm this time under, relaxing into that thread the needle pose, opening up our breath, opening up our back. Wonderful. Let's inhale, coming back into tabletop. Let's extend our arms just a little bit out further. Open up those knees. We're going to exhale, dropping just our chest to the mat. Coming into puppy pose, letting your hips open up your lower back. Relaxing into the pose. And from here, let's inhale ourselves up, bringing our hands back into tabletop. Let's curl our toes once more, taking a deep breath. Exhale, sending those hips up into the sky, coming into our downward dog. And from here, let's get ourselves situated, adjusting as necessary, so that you feel nice and secure in your downward dog. Your feet holding you firm to the floor, into the mat, and your hands right and firm and behind you. Let's take an inhale, and as we exhale, let's bring our right foot to our left ankle or calf. Exhaling, coming into that twisted downward dog, allowing that lower back to open up, holding your core nice and strong. Excellent. Let's inhale that right hand right back down on the mat. Exhaling, readjusting our stance if necessary. Let's inhale, bringing the left arm this time to the right ankle or calf or thigh. Exhaling into that twisted downward dog, allowing our backs to open. And the point is to keep your feet, try to keep your heels close to the mat, allowing your back to slowly open up. Inhale that hand back down to the front. And let's exhale our knees back to the mat. Coming into our tabletop. Taking an inhale, coming forward slightly. Let's open up those knees once more into that wide-legged pose. Exhaling, coming down into child's pose. And let's hold here for a moment. Resting our arms and legs after coming into our downward dog. Let's further work on our back by extending, walking the fingertips forward, extending the arms out in front of us, coming into an extended child's pose. Let's hold here for a moment as we allow each exhale to sink our bottom closer to the mat, to the floor, letting our fingers grip the floor and the mat, allowing our body to gently pull in both directions, loosening up our spinal column, letting each vertebrae slide back into place. And with an inhale, let's bring ourselves up just a tiny bit, keeping in that extended pose. Let's walk our hands over to the right with an exhale. Extended side stretch in child's pose, opening up that oblique, keeping that left hip pinned to our ankle, to the floor, to the mat, feeling that stretch in our oblique, in our lower back. Breathe and exhale into this pose, allowing it to further help. Let's inhale, walk our hands over with an exhale to the left side, stretching out the other side of the body. Coming into our twisted child's pose here as we stretch our body. Excellent. Let's walk the hands back to center, coming back into that extended child's pose. Let's drop our hands and our arms, exhaling ourselves back up into tabletop. Let's find ourselves coming around to seated on the mat, legs extended in front of us. Here, let's adjust. Inhale, sending those hands up into the sky. Let's exhale and find ourselves lying on the mat. And let's inhale that right leg up into the sky, palm over palm behind the thigh or the knee. Exhale, pulling that knee into the chest. Stretching that leg, lying leg stretch. Go ahead and point and flex the toe. That is within your practice today. From here, let's inhale the leg bent, dropping as an exhale. That knee across the left leg, but keep that left foot pointed up to the sky because we just want to stretch out our quadricep here and stretch out our piriformis. You don't want to pull your back all the way over. That'll actually end up hurting your back. Just trying to stretch out the lower back. Hopefully or your hips, and that'll help loosen up the lower back a bit. Let's inhale that right leg up to the center, exhaling it over to the right this time, coming into a lying tree pose. Opening up the front of the hip. Keeping that left hip bone posted to the mat. Wonderful. Let's inhale and exhale that leg back down to the mat. Let's remark how much difference it feels in one leg versus the other. I don't know about you, my right leg feels longer than the other, but hey, that's just me. Let's inhale that left leg up into the sky, palm over palm, exhaling, bringing that knee to chest. Go ahead and point and straighten and flex that foot. Further working on loosening up the calves and the back of the leg. Excellent. Let's take an inhale as we bring that knee further into the chest. Exhale, crossing over just the top of the right leg here, stretching out our glutes and our hips. Maybe extending our left arm to the side here. Let's inhale that knee up to center. Exhale, placing it down on the mat, opening the front of the hip. Excellent. Let's inhale that left leg. It's flat on the mat to meet the right. And let's find ourselves taking one last inhale, sending our arms overhead, extending our legs out as we stretch. Exhaling, allowing your legs to drop open, your hands to fall free as we come into our Shavasana pose. Now, as this is a truncated class, you may join Shavasana here laying down into fully assumed corpse pose, or you may join me in easy seat in Sukhasana. However, I do encourage that you take your Shavasana this evening, as it is a very important part of yoga. So allow everyone here to get into their seat of choice. Make sure everyone's nice and settled in. Before we get started, let's take a deep breath in through the nose, exhaling it out through the mouth. Let's revisit our intentions for the class. Did you think them, the intentions that you set? I know I certainly did. I delighted in leading you through this pose. So without further ado, if you haven't already, allow your eyes to flutter shut as we relax into our full Shavasana pose. before we come up from our Shavasana this evening, I would like to read for you a passage from the Daily Stoic. Today's passage is about the Grand Parade of Desire. It reads, "Robbers, perverts, killers, and tyrants, gather for your inspection their so-called pleasures." Marcus Aurelius. It's never great to judge other people, but it's worth taking a second to investigate how a life dedicated to indulging every whim actually works out. The writer Anne Lamott jokes in Bird by Bird, "Ever wonder what God thinks of money? Just look at the people he gives it to." The same goes for pleasure. Look at the dictator and his harem filled with plotting, manipulative mistresses. Look how quickly the parting of a young starlet turns to drug addiction and a stalled career. Ask yourself, is that really worth it? Is that really pleasurable? Consider that when you crave something or contemplate indulging in a harmless vice. And with that, I would like to invite movement into your body by wiggling those fingers, wiggling those toes. Begin to move the shoulders and the hips. Maybe wiggling the legs, shaking out the wrists. Inhale yourself nice and big on the mat. Exhaling, taking as much room as you need to open up your muscles, waking your body up, coming back into consciousness. If it is within your practice, keep your eyes closed as you roll to one side, cradling your head ever so gently and your arm there, holding for a moment, being there for yourself for a moment. And now inhaling, placing one hand on the mat to steady yourself, coming up to meet me in Sukhasana Easy Seat. Let's inhale those hands once overhead. Exhale, coming into prayer pose. And if you haven't already, go ahead and open your eyes, fluttering back into the class. Thank you very much for joining me this evening in today's Free Flow Friday. Oh my goodness, alliteration is killing me here. As always, we meet at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Friday evening here in the Asana Sana Yoga studio. And I always like to end by saying to everyone, be the light that you wish to see in the world. See the light that you wish to see in the world. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Have a great evening, everyone, and happy Black Leaders Day.